I never imagined that the person who would try to steal the very roof over my head would be my own mother-in-law. When my wife and I bought our apartment, we pictured a peaceful life together, far away from drama or manipulation. But little did we know, the storm brewing behind us had been gathering for years, fueled by entitlement, favoritism, and one very spoiled golden boy. Before any of this unfolded, I always believed family disputes could be solved with calm conversations. But as you'll soon hear, this was not a simple misunderstanding. This was a full-blown battle for what was rightfully ours. It all started the day my mother-in-law showed up unannounced, acting strange from the moment she stepped inside. She walked around the living room with a sense of ownership, as if she were inspecting something she already possessed. I remember exchanging confused glances with my wife as her mother quietly evaluated every corner of the place. Then, with a satisfied sigh, she said something that instantly turned my stomach. She told us she would allow us to stay here temporarily until her son, her precious golden boy, was ready to move in. I thought she was joking at first, because who says something like that? But her face was stone cold, filled with arrogance that could only come from someone who truly believed the world revolved around her. My wife, usually calm and patient, snapped back instantly and told her mother that the apartment belonged to us legally, financially, and morally. But my mother-in-law waved her hand dismissively, like we were children refusing to share toys. Then she delivered the bombshell that set everything into motion. She claimed the apartment wasn't actually ours. She insisted that because she had given us blessings during the purchase, it somehow meant she had rights over the property. It was so ridiculous that I actually laughed, thinking she couldn't possibly be serious. But the chilling look she gave me made it clear that she meant every word. That's when she revealed her real plan. She wanted the apartment transferred to her name so she could give it to her golden boy, her son who had never paid a bill, worked a full-time job, or taken responsibility for anything. My wife and I stood frozen in disbelief, unable to process the audacity of this demand. A few days later, things escalated far beyond anything we could have imagined. We received a letter, an official one, claiming that we were fraudulently occupying property. My mother-in-law had actually filed paperwork accusing us of essentially stealing our own apartment. At that moment, we realized that this wasn't some petty family disagreement. This was a legal attack, a calculated move designed to intimidate us into handing over everything we had worked for. The golden boy, of course, bragged openly that the place would soon be his. Instead of panicking, my wife and I decided to fight. We hired a lawyer immediately, determined to expose every lie, every manipulation, and every fabricated claim. Our attorney was shocked by the nonsense in the documents and told us we had a solid case. Still, even with logic on our side, the idea of going to war with family weighed heavily on us. We spent days gathering every receipt, message, and contract related to the purchase of our home. As the legal proceedings began, my mother-in-law doubled down on her theatrics. She entered the courtroom wearing a dramatic black veil, pretending to be some kind of victim of our betrayal. She claimed we had tricked her, manipulated her, and used her for money. The irony was painful. She hadn't contributed a single dollar to our apartment. She even went as far as producing witnesses, although these were just her friends parroting whatever lies she fed them. The judge, thankfully, had little patience for the circus act. Our lawyer presented undeniable proof of ownership, documents signed by all relevant authorities, and clear financial trails showing that my wife and I paid for everything ourselves. Still, as anyone who's been through legal battles knows, justice rarely comes quickly. The process dragged on for months, filled with unnecessary delays caused entirely by my mother-in-law and her spoiled son. They filed objection after objection, each one more absurd than the last. During this exhausting period, the golden boy began telling everyone that he was moving into his new apartment soon. He bragged so publicly that neighbors started asking us when we were leaving. It was humiliating, infuriating, and unbelievable all at once. My wife cried more during those months than she had in her entire life. She felt betrayed not only as a homeowner, but as a daughter, wondering how her own mother could be so cruel. But throughout all of this, we held onto one thing: the truth. And sometimes the truth is the strongest weapon you have. Our lawyer reminded us again and again that people who build their cases on lies eventually expose themselves. As hearings continued, that's exactly what happened. The contradictions in my mother-in-law's statements became painfully obvious, and the judge started questioning her credibility. One day during a hearing, the golden boy made a critical mistake. He claimed that he had financially contributed to the purchase of the apartment. He spoke confidently, unaware that the judge had already reviewed our financial records. When the judge questioned him about specific details, he stumbled, contradicted himself, and then fell completely silent. His arrogance slowly melted into panic as he realized he had lied under oath. That moment marked the real turning point. The judge, now visibly annoyed, ordered a formal investigation into the claims made by my mother-in-law and her son. This included looking into forged documents, false statements, and attempts to seize property illegally. What they thought would scare us into submission ended up exposing them. And once the investigation began, everything unraveled like a cheap sweater being pulled from the thread. The investigators found forged signatures, manipulated forms, and false testimonies, all orchestrated by my mother-in-law with the help of her golden boy. The more evidence they uncovered, the worse it looked for them. Their plan wasn't just unethical, it was criminal. My wife and I watched as their carefully constructed lies collapsed piece by piece. Even the judge seemed shocked at how far they had gone. When the day of the final verdict arrived, my wife squeezed my hand so tightly I could feel her fear trembling through her fingers. The courtroom was unusually quiet as everyone waited for the judge's announcement. He spoke calmly but firmly, stating that the evidence overwhelmingly supported our ownership of the apartment. Then he declared something we never expected in our wildest dreams. Our mother-in-law and her golden boy were being charged for fraud, forgery, and perjury. Their reactions were unforgettable. My mother-in-law gasped dramatically, as if her entire world had collapsed. The golden boy tried to protest, but his voice shook so badly he could barely form a sentence. When security approached them, they suddenly realized this was real, not some argument they could manipulate their way out of. They were escorted out of the courtroom, their entitled confidence replaced with raw fear. They didn't just lose the case, they were sentenced. The judge imposed a significant fine for all the damages, legal fees, and false claims. It was a massive amount, one that neither of them could afford. And on top of that, they received jail time for their deliberate attempts to steal property and manipulate the legal system. My wife and I sat in silence, stunned, emotionally exhausted, but relieved beyond measure. Walking out of the courtroom that day felt like stepping into a new life. We were tired mentally, emotionally, completely drained, but we finally felt safe. Our home, the place we had worked so hard for, was officially and unquestionably ours. The neighbors who had doubted us suddenly changed their tone, offering apologies and sympathy. But honestly, we just wanted peace, not validation. The golden boy's reputation crumbled instantly. People who once admired him realized the truth about the spoiled entitlement he carried. And for my mother-in-law, the consequences were even worse. She lost all credibility in the community, and even her own siblings distanced themselves. The lies she had built her life around finally caught up to her, leaving her with nothing but regret and legal trouble. My wife struggled with mixed emotions after everything ended. She was relieved, yes, but also heartbroken that her own mother would go to such lengths to hurt her. Betrayal from strangers is painful, but betrayal from family cuts deeper than anything else. We went to therapy together, trying to rebuild trust and stability after months of chaos. Slowly, we healed, growing stronger and closer than ever. Looking back now, I realize that this ordeal taught us an invaluable lesson. Not everyone who calls themselves family truly wants the best for you. Some are driven by greed, jealousy, or entitlement, and they will disguise their intentions behind smiles and false affection. But you cannot let their darkness dim your light. You have to protect what's yours and stand firm against manipulation, even when it comes from the people you least expect. And if there's one thing I hope listeners take away from our story, it's this: never underestimate the power of standing your ground. Even when it feels like the world is turning against you, even when people try to intimidate or deceive you, the truth remains a powerful shield. You don't need to stoop to their level. You just need to hold on to your principles and fight with integrity. Today, my wife and I live peacefully in the apartment we nearly lost. Every morning when I wake up and see the sunlight hitting the walls, I'm reminded of the battle we fought to keep it, and strangely, that makes me appreciate it even more. It's not just a home, it's a symbol of our resilience, our unity, and our ability to overcome even the most unexpected challenges. This place has become a testament to the fact that love, honesty, and determination can overcome even the worst betrayals. Sometimes people ask us if we regret taking legal action against family. But the truth is, anyone willing to commit crimes to take what isn't theirs forfeits the privilege of being considered family in the first place. We didn't destroy that relationship, they did, the moment they chose greed over love. All we did was protect ourselves, our home, and our peace. And at the end of the day, that's all you can do. So when you face your own battles, big or small, remember our journey. Remember that not all storms come to destroy your life. Some come to clear your path. Ours revealed the truth about the people around us and gave us the strength we never knew we had. And for that, oddly enough, we are grateful. Our story didn't end in loss. It ended in justice, growth, and a deeper commitment to protecting our future together. Even now, years later, we occasionally hear whispers about the Golden Boy's struggles. He tries to portray himself as a victim of circumstance, but people know better now. His entitlement, once fed by his mother's constant praise, has left him unable to function without manipulation or shortcuts. Meanwhile, my wife and I live grounded, grateful, and wiser because of the ordeal we survived together. And honestly, that's the best ending we could have hoped for. If you've stayed with me through this entire story, thank you. I hope it reminded you that no matter how difficult life gets, you have the strength to stand up for what's right. Your truth matters. Your peace matters. And no one, absolutely no one, has the right to steal it from you.